I was waiting for them. Oh, here it goes. I'm Kat.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Class Eve.
A tipsy night class teaching the oddities and curiosities you never learned in school.
What are we drinking for this Christmassy/holiday learning journey, Hayley?
You made us these delicious, strong, they got it going on, peppermintini.
Yeah, same thing we drank at our cocktail hour, and it is literally pure booze.
And it is working. We both blew a 0.29 or something into the breathalyzer.
Like we were dead. We're not actually that drunk. The breathalyzer, I think, just smells your breath. It doesn't really tell you your alcohol content.
Yeah, it's not wafting it. It's just
getting
a good sniff in it.
Hayley blew a 0 and then took one sip of her drink and then blew a 0.28. So clearly it's fake.
It's functioning and knows exactly what it's talking about. It's why we use it every single episode.
Alex.
Because if it doesn't work, then what's the point?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Santa Claus. We believe in it. It's
and
real,
therefore
and
it
that's
is.
all that
Yes.
matters.
No further discussion.
Yeah. Well, I've been waiting since. So let me tell you guys about how much I hate my best friend.
I think that's the best. That's when you know you're good friends, and you're like, oh, you're so fucking annoying to me right now.
I hate you. Ruined my weekend.
I'm about to make it.
On Friday night, she gets in my car and we're driving along, and she goes. Like, she's all excited, and she turns and looks at me, and I'm like, she's about to tell me something really good, and I got excited, and then she goes, never mind. I'm like, what? And this bitch says, you have to wait till the podcast. And so that's all I've been thinking about, obviously.
You're going to see why.
For 2 whole days. It's Sunday night now.
Yeah. Has it been haunting you?
Yes.
I'm so glad that I got to tell someone else, because I don't know how I kept it. Even today on the way here, I was like, don't say it. Don't say it.
What? Tell me.
Okay. So first of all, it's disgusting. Okay.
Oh, never mind. I don't want to know.
I think you do.
I don't.
I think you do.
I don't. Okay, tell me.
Okay.
I was about to say, wow, what a turn.
That was like a 180.
I don't like gross stuff.
It's amazing, though. Okay, it's very good news for me. Do you remember? I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast. Is it the thing in your ear?
Did it come out?
It came out.
No.
Give backstory.
All right. So 2019, in the fall, I had a goal in adulthood. I graduated college. I'm going to be more sustainable. So I got reusable Q-tips. I should have gotten the ones that is all one piece. It's like a silicone Q-tip. It's rubber. You can wash it and reuse it. No, I got the one that is the stick, and then the silicone parts are on either end, but it can come off. I did not know that. I stick it in my ear. It feels weird. I pull it out, and the end is missing. And I'm like, okay, either this is lodged in my ear, or it flicked out as I rapidly pulled it out of my ear and panicked because it felt weird. I searched all over my room, could not find the end of the Q-tip, and I do that thing where you avoid things you're afraid of. I didn't want to go to the doctor and then confirm that it was in my ear and then possibly have to get surgery or something. Of course
not. I would have done the same thing.
So I was like, well, maybe it just flicked somewhere and I just can't find it.
That's what you're going to choose to believe.
Surely it's not in my ear. I'm walking out of Ulta on Friday, and I just go to itch my ear, and I feel something rubbery that I can't physically feel, but my fingertip can feel it. And I'm like, oh my God, is it happening? I wiggled it twice, and this thing pops out of my ear.
Oh my God.
It had been marinating for 3 years.
Yeah, this is a story from when we first started the podcast.
Yes.
We've come full circle.
I remember, Alec, you were like, my mom's a nurse. She could take a look at it for you. I met Alec's mom for the first time a month ago.
That's crazy.
No, it is crazy. It was disgusting.
What was it covered in earwax?
Do you want to see it? I took a picture.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you brought it with you.
No,
we
it's still in my car.
I need to see the picture.
Do not judge me. Everyone has earwax.
And do you hear a difference?
Yes, I can hear everything now.
Oh my God.
I can hear everything.
As someone who does audio for a living, it's like so satisfying to me to think that you just got something unplugged.
It's like there's a raisin on the tip and the rest of it is covered in like amber, like from a tree.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not smooth like I was picturing. It has a bunch of like knobs.
Perfect to
nodules.
grip the inside of your ear.
Imagine a white pine cone
So now I'm
that's
looking.
been rolled in beeswax.
Oh God, yes, exactly. So now I've been looking on Amazon to get one of those kits where you can flush your ear out because it was the earwax that had been building up.
And you're
that
like,
pushed it out.
What else is in there? Yeah.
Hopefully nothing else.
Are you going to get one of those like candle things that you like melt your earwax out with?
No, those scare me. I'm just going to get one of the ones where you flush it out with water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are those safe?
Yeah, just you have to do it with like distilled water.
Well, I want to try.
Yeah,
That's
you
fun.
should.
I do the ones on my nose.
Oh,
the neti pots.
those ones. I did that once and I was like, ooh, no, because every time I throw up, it comes out of my nose. So it just really reminded me of that sensation.
Oh.
So that was
You
a no-go.
throw up out your nose?
Yeah, like every time. Most of it comes out of my nose.
That's so weird.
yeah,
It's never happened to me.
It's awful. Because then it's like once you're done throwing up, it takes a lot of effort to really flush it out. But that's disgusting. Anyway.
Merry Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, that's your treat. Was that anything of what you expected it to be?
No, I had no idea. I knew it had to be something we'd talked about on the podcast for you to like really want to save it for the pod. Honestly, I was hoping it would affect me a little bit more, but it's still good news. I'm glad that I waited to hear it.
I have something else that may affect you. Not actually, but like a little bit. It's kind of funny. Have you seen those AI websites that will type papers for you? So I was playing around with that today and I was like, oh, I wonder what would happen if I put in Night Classy Podcast as the topic. Do you want to know what it pulled or what it assembled? Okay.
What did it write?
So it says, Night Classy Podcast is a podcast that discusses the news and happenings in the world of Night Classy. It's hosted by myself, the Crimson King, and our friend, Dr. Bongwater.
What?
Yeah. What? We discuss all things related to Night Classy, from movies to music to games to comics and more.
I think we have a new intro.
Dr. Bong, and that's you. Because this is from my point of view. It's hosted by myself. I'm Crimson King.
Crimson King and Dr. Bongwater. Yes.
Those are our most unhinged selves. We have Holly Sancha and Claudia Severa.
Those are us. Those are alter egos. This is like alternate dimensional beings.
The scariest universe.
Crimson King and Dr. Bongwater. It does sound like an Adult Swim cartoon.
Yeah, it does. We need to make that.
Yeah.
We could just
Adult Swim, hire us.
next
We'll just use the
adventure.
AI to write the show.
The entire script, yeah. So I thought that was funny, and then it
funny.
goes on a little bit, but nothing really funny beyond that.
What if we just read that verbatim as a cold open? And people are just like, what the?
What the F? Okay, we should do that for the next episode. But the
We'll
next episode we're
all our
recording.
listeners.
But if it's the one that comes out after this, people will be like, haha. It's a wink.
It's a joke. Yeah.
That funny thing.
Because we're recording this early because this is our Christmas episode. What are you going to be doing on Christmas?
We're going to be in Knoxville with Tommy's parents.
Nice.
I'm going to be drinking, chilling with all their animals.
Does he have any like fun Christmas traditions at his house?
They open their presents on Christmas Eve.
We do that too.
I've never done that. I think it's like, why? Just Christmas,
I think it might-
Christmas morning.
I don't know. It might be like because his mom is from Ecuador. Might be a thing because I don't know in like European countries. I know Ecuador is not a European country, but they probably have Spanish influence.
Yeah,
because we do Christmas Eve because it's a German thing to do.
Yeah, that could be. So that's what we're doing, but we're not doing presents anyway this year. So I don't know. We're just gonna be hanging out. What are you
presents
doing?
with his entire family, or just you and Tommy?
Maybe we'll get something for his mom and his dad. We haven't really talked about it though, so I don't know. We probably will.
Yeah, it's like less than 2 weeks till Christmas, and I have not bought a single gift. Actually, that's a lie. I bought my mom something, and that's it.
She got your whole ticket to go to Seattle.
And I got her a weird sculpture that there's a 50-50 chance she'll hate it.
What is it?
I think I told you about it on the show. It's like a clay sculpture of a frog with a human face.
Right. Yes. Is it big or a small
It's
guy?
pretty small. She has a lot of houseplants, so I was thinking it might be cute to like put in like one of the pots.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly thinking about getting her something else and keeping it because I really like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm seeing a picture. Wow. It's way more human than frog. It's like only the frog. It looks like an egg with a human face with frog hands.
It's like a peachy flesh colored.
It's Humpty Dumpty.
It does look a little like an egg. I'm obsessed with it. I am a little afraid of like when she opens it in front of everyone and it's like, oh, thank you. Question mark.
Out.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Maybe I'll get her something else. That might be the right call in this situation.
Get a second one and give it to me because I like that a lot.
You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy her a second gift. And if she opens the frog and hates it, I'm going to say, just kidding, and give her the new gift. But if she likes the frog, I'll keep the other gift hidden.
There you go.
And then I'll keep the second gift.
That's a safe thing. Just both things that you like.
That I want. Yeah. But
jeez.
Anyway, when this episode comes out, I'll be home in Washington State. And Alex he is flying out after me like on Christmas night, like in the middle of the night. So I'm going to go pick him up from the airport late at night, and then we'll vibe in the snow. Yes.
On Christmas night, you're going to be back?
What do you? No, I'm picking him up in Seattle.
Oh, nice. I didn't know you were going. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a 5-hour layover in Vegas on Christmas, so that should be pretty wild.
Yeah, that'll be not depressing at all to be looking around in Vegas on Christmas Day.
Get some Auntie Anne's at the airport.
Oh, that's true.
Get crazy.
You could do that. The Vegas airport sucks. Have you ever been there?
There's no Auntie Anne's.
No. It's not a good time there. They don't have like anything good to eat, but they have about 1,000 slot machines.
And you can like smoke cigarettes in there.
So it stinks like cigarettes, and there's slot machines everywhere, and everything looks like the 70s. I guess kind of like a lot of Vegas.
The worst part of Vegas. Also, Vegas doesn't appeal to me at all.
I don't like it either. I don't understand.
I've never been, so I guess I'd have to try it. It doesn't appeal.
It's like fun to see live shows because there's so many like cool live shows that are happening every night, but I'm not a gambler. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I just, that does not appeal to me, that part.
For sure.
Anyway. Well, this is our holiday/winter episode, and we have a holiday/winter themed stories. Mine is not holiday themed in the slightest, but there is winter.
Okay,
in it.
That's the most important thing. Yeah, we have to get more abstract now that this is our third year. Yeah, we're getting more and more abstract here. Mine is actually, I think it'll be my last actually like truly holiday themed.
Oh, I'm glad you have like a real holiday theme. I feel like we burned through like all the good holiday stuff.
Yeah,
or at least Christmas stuff real quick.
Yeah, well, there's only so much you can do.
That's true. Well, I blew a .012.
And I blew a .019. But wait, you said a 001 or point? No, not .012, .12. My bad. There, okay. Because I thought you were going first, and then I panicked because I was like, wait, I get to relax.
I am going first. Yeah, it's been a while since we blew an actual high number, but since we're drinking straight liquor with no mixer, it's literally just vodka and some liqueur.
Disguised by the peppermint.
And yes, the peppermint schnapps. And we've got an entire like tumbler full of it. We're wasted. So
Yay!
I hope you enjoy.
On a Sunday night.
I can't wait to. I was supposed to have lesson plans for tomorrow, and I like faked them so I had something to turn in. But we're not doing jack shit. It's going to be
the last week.
No, and it's going to be makeup days. I ran reports on all the kids missing assignments. They're going to sit there and make up their work, and I'm going to sit there and do nothing. So I can drink the rest of this booze.
And I think you should. You've earned it. You deserve it. You are a professional teacher who knows what she's doing.
Going to turn the lights off, say, only bother me if you finished an assignment, tell me to put the grade in, and then go back to your desk.
As you rest your head on your desk.
I'm a professional.
That's Dr. Bong Water.
for legal reasons, this is a joke. Anyway, here we go. All right. Our story takes place in the small coastal town of Nome, Alaska. Do you know what this is?
No.
Nome. All right, good.
Alec is lit too.
That pun got me.
Alec loves puns. Nome had long been inhabited by members of indigenous Athabascan tribes, but in 1899, gold was discovered there, so I'm sure you can guess what happened. It brought waves of white miners to the area, and the miners and the natives lived separately in the settlement, pretty much like completely separate lives. The natives had settlements on the outskirts of town. The whites were settled kind of like, where the saloons and shit was that they built. And they avoided each other for the most part. The natives were extremely distrustful of the newcomers, and they had really good reason to be. In times where resources were scarce, the miners were known to raid and steal from natives' homes. So obviously, of course.
Naturally.
Really shitty. And the white population, though, was a danger to the natives for other reasons as well. Think bringing diseases. In 1918, Nome experienced a Spanish flu pandemic, which tragically wiped out half of the town.
Oh my God.
I know. And of course, the native population doesn't have a natural resistance to the Spanish flu. So
just
they were
them.
the most impacted by this.
And it's so crazy too, because all of this, they're there for gold, which humans just decided was highly valuable.
Yeah. Like for what and for no reason at all. And the first wave, I think there were two major waves of miners that came in the town. The first wave actually was able to find gold and get really rich. And then people heard about this and they came, but by then all the gold was gone. So they for what and for why,
The second wave of miners were just teenagers.
Pretty much. Honestly, a lot of these guys probably were. And this, unfortunately, was just a prequel to another pandemic to come. So in January of 1925, just 7 years later, Nome would be faced with another sickness. Nome had only one doctor, Dr. Curtis Welch.
Oh, not Dr. Bongwater.
Not Dr. Bongwater. Thankfully, this was a real doctor who sounds like he knew how to do his job.
Oh, do it in Duolingo. Doctora Ganja Agua.
Agua de Ganja. I want to share something I'm really proud of really quick.
Please
Speaking
do.
of Duolingo, I took German in high school and I was like, you know what? Let me just see how much I remember. So I took the little German placement test on Duolingo and I tested up ahead to the 24th unit or whatever. So
wow.
I remembered a lot. I was excited.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're like, you don't need this.
Yeah.
You don't need Duolingo for German. you passed.
It's basically English.
25 out of 25.
Yes.
But then she
was
turned it
very
into a competition.
Yeah, I made Alec take it because Alec majored in Italian. So I was like, why don't you take the Italian placement test and we'll see how you do.
And I was like, no, it's your account. It's going to mess up your analytics. She's like, take the test.
Yeah, he was like, I'll just take it later. And then I looked at him and he's like, or I could take it now.
You majored in Italian?
I minored in Italian.
Oh.
And
My bad.
I only got to level 7 or unit 7.
He got
So
to unit 7.
she surpassed me by 2/3.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So even though he minored in it.
I want to take it now for Spanish.
Yeah, you should. It's interesting. And I rubbed it in Alec's face a little bit more because I'm sorry, Alec, but I'm on unit 8 for my Spanish. So I was like, I know more Spanish than you know Italian. And I've been doing it for 2 weeks.
Oh my God. And how long has it been since Alec was in college? 20 years?
Give or take.
Alec just starts crying.
I'm so sorry,
I'm done
Alec.
with this show.
Yeah, we're so mean to you on
We
here.
don't
I'm really
need him,
sorry. We
no,
love
yeah.
Alec.
What did the AI bot say about me? Nothing.
Yeah, never mention a producer.
It's like, we're here with our little bitch.
Our little gremlin that sits over there and types on the computer while we talk. Anyway, back to the serious stuff. So Dr. Welch started receiving a bunch of sick kids to his office. It was winter, so it was kind of like, okay, like, you know, seasonal sickness. A lot of these kids were suffering from sore throats.
A bunch of sick minors.
Yeah. And the doctor just assumed it was tonsillitis, which is really common, not that big of a deal. A month went by, and on January 20th, Dr. Welch received a 3-year-old patient named Billy Barnett. Billy was hospitalized for 2 weeks, suffering from a fever, sore throat, weakness, and difficulty breathing. One look at Billy's throat, and the doctor knew that he was not dealing with tonsillitis.
Oh, God. The doctor was like, ew.
Ew. Yeah, listen to this. His throat had a gray coating. Like a thick gray coating. And this is a telltale sign of diphtheria, which is a highly deadly and contagious disease that mostly affects young children.
Whoa, I just got shivers.
Yeah. Do you ever remember? I have vivid memories of being in the doctor's office, and they have these posters of like little babies suffering from different diseases. And one of them is diphtheria, and they have like it zoomed in on their like nasty gray throat. And I remember like being freaked the fuck out by it.
Up. All they had was like butterflies and animals painted on the wall. There was none of that.
My pediatrician had like all these fucked up posters of babies with like deadly diseases.
Was your doctor old? Did they need it like
I don't
as a reminder?
But like, they have to like reference their poster.
It's just riddled with all different diseases and what it looks like all
like
over the walls.
Looking in your throat with one eye and like looking at the poster with the other eye.
He's like glancing over. He has like a mirror up so he can like look at the poster behind him.
He has. Did you ever have those glasses as a kid where the sides were reflective?
Yeah,
They're
like the spy glasses. Oh my God.
He has a tattoo of like a graph.
Oh my God. But this was like a really scary realization, because now he was like, oh shit, like we're not dealing with like regular seasonal cold and flu stuff. This is a deadly diphtheria outbreak. Luckily, there was a cure for diphtheria. It's a serum.
Oh no, this story is taking a
This is a
turn.
really serious story, and I'm so drunk. So this is
We have to find levity where we can, to our credit.
Also, if you guys didn't get it yet, this is a winter holiday story because there's snow and because we're in Alaska. That's it. That's the tie-in.
Yeah, also, I feel like our listeners are like us and they find the really messed up, scary stories interesting.
Yeah.
So it's a good gift, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, it's like a hopeful story. You'll see. See. It's not like straight up depressing.
Spoiler.
So there is a cure for diphtheria. It's a serum derived from horse blood. Dr. Welch said, okay, great. Like we have some of this stuff. I'm just going to go get it and everything will be fine. He goes to his storage, and when he gets to the bottles, he has the horrible realization that all 8,000 units of antitoxin were expired.
Yeah, he probably never has to use them.
Never has to
diphtheria?
use them. And also he had ordered more in 1924, the year before, but they're in like super remote, like Alaskan wild country. It never got there, leaving him with absolutely no way to treat these sick children.
Oh no.
And a few days later, Billy died.
Oh, poor baby.
I know. After this, Dr. Welch said, like, you know, it's expired, but it's better than nothing. Like, if the kids are going to die anyway, we might as well try. So he used the expired medicine to treat a 7-year-old girl with diphtheria, and she tragically died the same day.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. A town council called an emergency meeting. They were genuinely concerned that the whole town, or at least like pretty much the whole town's children, could be killed by this outbreak. Tensions were really high. People were panicking. And Dr. Welch did pretty much the only thing he could do, which was send out a telegram to neighboring towns begging for medicine, essentially. In the telegram, it said, quote, "An epidemic of diphtheria is inevitable. I am in urgent need of 1 million units of diphtheria antitoxin."
Oh, I was going to ask a question, but I forgot what it was. It was a good question, too.
All right.
God damn it.
If you think of it, raise your hand.
Okay.
He received a response from Anchorage, Alaska, who luckily had 300,000 doses of antitoxin. This, of course, wasn't quite enough, but it was better than nothing.
300 doses was
300,000. Well, he wanted 1 million.
Oh, okay.
And they had
I missed that part.
300,000.
I was trying to think of my question.
So this is good. This is a start, but it didn't solve the problem because this was late January in remote Alaska.
Why did he need 1 million doses?
I think maybe you need more than one dose per case. Like it's like one, like you have to take multiple doses to cure. I don't know exactly how many doses you need, but probably more than one if you needed 1 million, I'm guessing.
I mean, it feels like they should have just, put several doses together and made that one dose.
What?
I'm just judging their dosing system.
Well, it's like a pill. Like when you're sick, you take more than one
pill.
Just a massive. Yeah. Good idea. Someone make Hayley a doctor. So, like I said, this is late January in remote Alaska. Nobody can fucking get to Nome. So it's great that they have this stuff, but how do they get it? Nome was right up against the Bering Sea. So no one could get there that way. It was also so far north that it's only 138 miles from Siberia. So it's like really fucking remote. Nome was entirely closed off by snow and ice. Temperatures could get down to negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and flash blizzards were common and deadly.
They should slingshot the pills over to the city.
You're full of great ideas tonight.
Thank you.
Hayley for president.
Nothing to do.
2024.
Listen, if I'm president, we're fixing all these jacked up parking lots in the United States. That's
number one priority.
Number one priority.
Jacked up parking lots?
When you go into a parking lot and you're like, this is just not set up right. I should be able to drive from Kohl's to Alta without going onto the main road. Things like that.
When you said that the first time, I thought you were talking about potholes, and I was like, yes, that's
potholes
a big problem.
Too. Yes.
I've never thought about parking lot design.
All of the frustrations.
I'm sure it's important.
And then once I get everyone to vote for me, or almost everyone, because of the parking lot, then we're going to come in with like the far left liberal. Everyone's getting health care. Everyone can get an abortion if they want it.
Oh, it's a little bait and switch.
Yes,
You're like,
exactly.
Everyone wants better roads and parking lots. And now let me just like do what I want to fucking do.
Yes. They don't need to know any other information.
You're a one issue president until you're elected. All right, great. glad to hear it. You have my vote.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay, now you and how many people are in the United States?
A lot. More than Nome.
Let the campaign begin.
Obviously, with this kind of weather, sending a vehicle to Nome was completely out of the question. And this is the 1920s, so air travel was still relatively new, especially in Alaska. Alaska was not modernized at this point. They didn't have access to airplanes. Your eyes lit up. Do you know what this is now?
Is this the Iditarod?
No, the Iditarod is like a yearly event.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was the beginning.
No, this is not the beginning, but this is a dog sled situation.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So air travel, and air travel even in warmer climates and shorter distances often ended in crashes. It was not super reliable at this point. And in Alaska, the sky was always fucking white because it was full of frozen clouds and it was snowy. So the sky and the ground were both white. They looked the same. So navigation was extremely difficult. Pilots compared it to flying in a milk bottle.
Ooh, don't like that.
So that's
the
not
Alaskan
really
Triangle.
The Alaska Triangle. Yeah, it's not really an option. It's really dangerous to fly an airplane in Alaska at this time. The only reliable method of transportation in and out of Nome on any given day was dog sled. And even then, usually you only got in and out on dog sled during the annual thaw from June to October.
Oh.
Like it was always snowy and icy.
Very distinct window of time.
Exactly. Like other than that, you were fucking stuck. Like there was no mail, no getting in and out. You were just isolated there. But with no other options,
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? An ambitious plan was hatched.
You get the dogs.
The dogs.
The dogs and the lawyer and Dr. Bongwater.
Dr. Bongwater. A doctor in Anchorage who had the serum. His name was John Bradley. The plan was he would bring a 20-pound crate to the railroad hospital. Then from there, it would travel north on a train to Nenana, which was the closest railway stop from Nome. That's as far as the train went. From Nenana, a shipment would be transported to Nome via dog sled. A typical trip from Nenana to Nome by dog sled. Oh my God, why can't I fucking talk? By dog sled would take about 25 days.
Has nothing to do with the peppermintini.
Nothing to do with this tumbler full of vodka.
Yeah, why can't I
drinking.
read?
Let me take one more sip. Maybe that'll help. Hold
What
on.
if you had a shipment of bananas from Nenana?
That would be the perfect day.
So good. I would not be able to say that.
I just had to fill the sip time with that comment.
You're like, I didn't actually think that thought. I was just filling the
You just said you were
airtime.
going to take a sip, so I jumped in. I wasn't waiting to say it.
Raise your hand.
Children were dying, so they didn't have 25 days to waste. So a group of super mushers was formed. You know what a musher is, right?
Yeah, the
the
person
guy
who's on the sled.
Yeah, they drive the dog sled. Several of the world's best dog sled drivers and their very best dogs would compete this trip relay race style, hopefully in just 10 days.
This is giving me shivers right now. Has this been made into a movie?
Many movies, which I'm very shocked that you don't know what I'm talking about yet.
Hey, everything is new when you have ADHD and can't form memories.
I am like blown away that you just asked me if this was a movie.
What's the movie called? What's like the main one?
Balto.
Never heard of it.
What?
Don't know her.
What? Oh my God. Okay. Never
You know
mind.
me. I didn't really watch movies before I met Tommy.
That's
Truly.
true. It's like an animated like cartoon dog movie though.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we all saw that in the 90s.
No, if it was cartoon dog movies, I don't know what I had against dog movies. I was afraid, like Marley and Me scared me. I never saw it, have never seen it.
Yeah, dog movies do tend to be really
They
sad.
really pull at your heartstrings, and I had way too much going on when I was 8, 9
Yeah,
years
you had
old.
enough anxiety, enough sadness in your life.
Oh,
You didn't
yeah.
also need the dog movies.
I was crying over math homework daily. Like, I did not have the mental capacity to watch sad dog movies.
That's fair. But that's great because I'm glad that this will all be new to you. You're going to be prepare to have your socks blown off.
And
Here
you know
we
what?
go.
In a year from now, when we do trivia, it's going to be all new again when we do this episode.
I can't wait. On top of the time crunch, the serum was sensitive to cold, which is a really big problem in sub-zero temperatures. Each glass vial was wrapped in a quilt to insulate it from the elements, and the mushers would use their short breaks to warm the serums by the fire. They didn't really stop to sleep. They would only stop for like a couple hours here and there to warm up the serums. They were instructed not to let them freeze under any circumstance because that would render them useless. What's been dubbed the Great Race of Mercy began at 9 a.m. on January 27th. The first musher was Wild Bill Shannon, who would take the package from the train station to the village of Tolavana.
Perfect name. Just had to get that in there.
Wild Bill. I know. I
Yeah.
was really glad. None of the other mushers have cool names. And I was like, I'm glad we're starting with one that has like a fun nickname.
You got to start strong. Yeah. If anything
Definitely.
gives me hope, it's Wild Bill.
Wild Bill's trip was going to be 52 miles. This trip would normally take 2 days, but Wild Bill planned to do it in 1.
Naturally.
His name is Wild Bill, despite the fact that temperatures were falling rapidly. It was getting dangerously cold, and Wild Bill was told to wait. People were like, you're gonna die if you
He's
try
like,
to do this.
No, it's fine. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to warm up. I think I might take off all my clothes.
He's like in a Speedo and just like, he has like one of
sunglasses
those like
on.
reflective things that people hold up to tan.
Oh my God. Snow burns are are the worst.
True. So he was told not to go, but he said, quote, "If people are dying, let's get started. Amen, Wild Bill." He and his dogs ran all night in temperatures as low as negative 62 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't. At a certain point, it must just all feel the same, right?
I guess, but like imagine how cold that is anyway. And then you're like, the wind is blowing in your face from running through that. And the dogs, I mean, they're Siberian Huskies, so they're really hairy and insulated. But the dogs do have like a hairless patch by their groin, so they're prone to frostbite as well.
Oh, babies. They need a little diaper.
Yeah, a little pants sweater. By the time he arrived to Tolovana, Wild Bill's face was completely black with frostbite.
Oh my God.
And 3 of his dogs died over the course of the journey.
Not the dogs.
I know. But they made it.
What happened to his face?
Probably thawed out. Maybe he lost a nose.
I don't think you just thaw out from...
Girl, I don't know.
That seems like something we should know.
I'll look it up.
Thank you.
Don't know if you... I mean, you can try. There's limited information. The next musher was Edgar Callan's. Callan's leg of the race was 32 miles through dense woods and across the icy Tanana River. Callan's trip took 5 hours, and by the time he arrived at Manly Hot Springs, his feet were literally frozen to his sled.
Ooh, yeah.
The next few mushers were Sam Joseph, Henry Pitka, and Bill McCarty. About his handoff, McCarty said, quote, "It was getting dark. I'd never been this way down the trail before. I took a flashlight. I had to run to keep warm. I wouldn't feed the dogs that night. They wouldn't run so good with a belly full." So I don't know. I just thought that quote was interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, if I run having had any food, which has not happened in a long time, I don't run. I used to. Yeah, I would throw up.
Yeah, definitely. And like they're running them as hard as they possibly can. So makes sense.
Just the spirit of these people to do this and be, they know that they are doing something highly dangerous.
And they could easily die.
Yeah.
Easily. Next was Edgar Nollander, then his brother George Nollander, then a young 22-year-old musher named Charlie Evans. Evans had a particularly difficult run. Evans and his dogs had to travel past the Koyukuk River's overflow. And overflow is when 2 rivers meet, but they're frozen. So there's like pressure under the ice from them meeting, and this can erode the ice and be really dangerous because you don't know where the ice is eroded and you can fall through the ice. They had to cross this. Evans and his dogs were doing the best they could to avoid it. The thing about dogs is they, like a good lead dog can tell where is like a reliable place to cross.
Yeah.
So the dogs were kind of like working overtime trying to find their way around the unsafe areas.
Yeah, it wasn't like a straight shot by any means.
Exactly. They were kind of working their way around. This took a lot of energy, and it was so much of a struggle that 2 of the dogs collapsed.
God, this is breaking my heart.
It is really sad. These ones didn't die, though. Evans put them in the sled, and Evans himself picked up the dogs' harnesses and pulled the sled with the remaining dogs the rest of the way. I know.
Oh my God. I'm going to start crying in the club.
Don't cry.
All right, and I haven't found out much information about what exactly happens, but here's a guy that in 1999 got frostbite on his face from Mount McKinley. He's a black nose and black cheeks, and this was it once it started healing. He basically lost his nose, and his cheek is scarred.
And I don't know much about frostbite to that point. Does it just heal back and your skin kind of like it dies and it falls off, or did he have to have surgery for his nose to look like that?
Probably a mixture of both. Like it's probably dead skin, and then they cut it off and sew it up.
And here's his fingers.
Oof.
Wow.
They're like, they're literally black, like night sky. After Evans came a musher named Jack Screw, then Victor Anagic, and next was Leonard Seppala. Seppala was a celebrity in the Alaskan dog sled world. He was considered the fastest sled driver in Alaska, and his lead dog, Togo, was also a renowned racing champion. So they were kind of the dream team, and because of this, they were tasked with the longest, most dangerous leg of the race. Together, they would run 91 miles over the Norton Sound, which was also called the Ice Factory.
This has been going on forever. I'm stressed.
I know, it is stressful. Togo was a really good dog, and he managed to find a safe route over the frozen sound. So they managed to make the trip in only 4 days. 91 miles over frozen ice in 4 days. It's amazing.
Oh my God.
And they were really lucky to get to their destination safely because only hours after they arrived in the village, the ice they crossed broke off. And by morning, it was drifting out to sea. So they easily could have been on that ice chunk if they were just a few hours late.
Global warming.
Sure. Seppala passed the serum off to his assistant, Charlie Olson, who brought it to gunner Kaysen. Gunner was younger than Seppala and was a less experienced racer. He also didn't have his own dogs, so he was allowed to select some dogs from Seppala's kennel. The lead dog he selected was Balto. Balto was young. He was a little inexperienced. He didn't quite have the racing credentials that some of the other lead dogs have. He also didn't have a body that was typical of a racing dog. He didn't have a body. He's just a head and legs.
It's disembodied.
He was the brain of the operation, you could say.
Most racing dogs are really slender and have long legs so they can run fast, but Balto had a barrel-shaped chest. He had shorter legs, so this made him not quite as fast and nimble as a typical lead dog.
His name is perfect. Balto. That just is fitting.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'd say, for short legs, big upper bulbous body.
That just says
Balto,
stocky body to you, Balto?
Yeah, I think Balto, and then I think clown, a clown with a big bulbous belly. And
what
if that wasn't dog
about?
Form,
Balto makes you think clown, like Pogo the clown, like the killer clown.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to explain it.
I'm so confused.
It just sounds like a clown name.
Balto, okay, I guess. So he wasn't maybe as fast as other dogs, but he was incredibly strong. He was low to the ground and he was fucking built. And in these harsh conditions, this actually worked in his favor. Only 5 miles into the run, the team found a giant snowbank blocking their path. This forced them to go off trail around the snowbank. But it was the middle of the night and it was white out blizzarding. So Kaysen couldn't see shit. He had to rely on Balto to sniff them back to the trail.
Wow. Oh my God. This is like driving a Tesla in modern time. You just sit back and relax.
I mean,
because there's not much else you can do.
But that's why the dogs are the real heroes of this story because they are doing the most. It's not just you point, it's not point and shoot. The lead dog really does have to figure out the best path to get there safely, across ice. And in this situation, getting you back to the trail. So it's really a miracle that the correct dogs were chosen for this task. And Balto was able to sniff them back to safety. Only as they were on their way back, the wind was blowing so hard that it flipped Kaysen's sled over.
Oh my God.
This threw the serum crate into the abyss. Like I said, it's nighttime, it's blizzarding. He can't see anything.
No, and it can't freeze.
It can't freeze. So panicked, Kaysen had no choice but to risk frostbite. Again, it's negative 50 degrees outside. He took off his gloves so he could crawl around on his hands and knees and search for the crate by touch. By a miracle, he found the crate, and Balto led them back to the trail.
And then his hands fell off.
I don't think his hands fell off. I think they actually miraculously were okay. They ran a total of 53 miles, and they were actually supposed to hand it off one more time. They weren't supposed to finish the race. Kaysen says when he got to the handoff point, the guys who was supposed to take it, the lights in his cabin were off, so he thought he was sleeping, and he didn't want to waste time. They just continued on.
Absolutely. And he's like, I've already made it this far.
Yeah, may as well finish it. And some people criticize him for that. They he just wanted the glory.
I would too.
I understand why he did that. And also everything I read though also was he was kind of a reserved guy. He was pretty quiet, didn't like attention. So for me, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he just wanted to save the children and get there as fast as he could. On February 2nd at 5:30 a.m., Kaysen, Balto, and their team reached Front Street in Nome. Allegedly, Kaysen stepped off the sled and then collapsed in exhaustion next to Balto. The only words he could muster were, "Fine dog." The 674-mile trip from the railway station to Nome took the racers an astonishing 127.5 hours. Just over 5 days.
Oh my God.
I know.
And their goal was to do it in a week, you said? In 10 days.
They did it in half the time.
Wow. Just the human spirit amazes me.
Human and canine.
Yes,
like the dogs
true.
they did just as much, if not more. But it is really amazing. Like everyone who was part of this, like gave it their 100%, risked their lives, ran all night. Like it was a massive effort. The vials arrived to Dr. Welch in perfect condition, and he was able to get straight to work administering the life-saving medicine.
This story keeps giving me goosebumps. I love it.
It's so good. Records show that 5 children in Nome died of diphtheria that winter. There probably were more that went unreported because a lot of the Eskimo population, native population, and I say Eskimo, I don't know if that's an outdated term, but that was in a lot of the articles I read. In any case, the indigenous population, they were distrustful of the white doctors for obvious and good reasons. Yeah. So there were probably more deaths than that, unfortunately. But there could have been a lot more. Who knows how many more children would have been lost if it weren't for the brave men and dogs that made that journey.
Oh my God. I feel like I've said that 10 times throughout the story. I'm just amazed.
Yeah.
And now I have to see the movie.
The entire race was a nationwide spectacle, and finishing the last leg made Balto an automatic celebrity. He was also an especially cute dog. Like he was mostly black. He had some like white patches, and he was like shorter and like chunkier than like a lot of the other huskies. And he was just very cute.
Are there pictures of him?
Yeah, there's pictures, and he's actually like been taxidermied, so you can see the real Balto.
Hell yeah.
But the taxidermy version looks a little whack, and like he's not black anymore. He's brown because he's been like bleached over the years.
Like all taxidermy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a sweet baby.
Yeah,
he
he's
looks
very
like
cute.
A wolf almost.
Yeah, and in actually the animated movie, he's part wolf, but he's not really part wolf. He's a Siberian husky. In 1926, Balto and Kaysen starred in a film together. Then for 9 months, they toured the country on the vaudeville circuit, making appearances on stages before adoring audiences. Following the tour, the pair attended an unveiling of a bronze statue of Balto in Central Park, which I believe is still there today. You can visit the Balto Memorial.
Wow.
However, the fame was short-lived. Balto and the team, the final team, the winning team, Balto and his sled team that finished the race were sadly sold to a sideshow museum in Los Angeles. For months, they stood harnessed to a sled in a dark, stuffy room where spectators could pay a dime to look at the miserable, neglected dogs.
And just because they completed this
because they were
race.
heroes, now they're like subjected to this life of misery and abuse.
God.
That is until a hero named George Kimball stopped by the museum and was horrified by what he saw. Like, these dogs are heroes. They saved children and they're fucking chained to a room being exploited. Afraid the dogs would die if they were left there, he asked the owner if he could purchase the 7-dog team. This was Balto, Fox, Cy, Billy, Tilly, Mock Talk, and Alaska Slim.
All amazing names.
Impeccable.
I think Alaska Slim might be my favorite, actually.
I know. I wish Alaska Slim was Balto's name, because that's a lot more fun.
Alaska Slim Thick.
He was told he could have them for $2,000, but that was a lot of money in the 1920s.
Yeah, it was probably like $1 billion.
It is. I don't like, I'm not going to refute that. It was $1 billion. And Kimball didn't have that money. But he was determined to save the dogs, so he launched a fundraising campaign in his hometown of Cleveland. Cleveland citizens rallied behind this cause, and by the 10th day of the campaign, they raised the money and Kimball rescued the dogs.
Oh my God. Did he take them back to Cleveland?
He took them back to Cleveland.
I feel like that's a pretty good compromise. It's not Alaska, but
yeah, it's north. Yeah, it's better than LA. The team spent the remainder of their lives as pampered, beloved members of the Cleveland Brookside Zoo.
Oh.
And kids could go see them and interact with the dogs. They'd pull little sleighs for children. It's very cute. And by all accounts, they had happy lives at the zoo until they died.
I am fully a cat person and I don't want dogs, but nothing else has made me want dogs as much as this.
It's a very sweet dog story.
Yes. And he's so cute.
I know,
even
he's
the
so
taxidermy version.
And that taxidermy is now at a museum in Cleveland, so they got to keep him even after he died.
Maybe that's what I want, just a taxidermy dog.
That's a good idea. I'm sure you can buy. I feel like that makes me a little sad, but you can have that if you want.
A faux taxidermy dog.
So a stuffed animal.
But more realistic.
Okay.
A
realistic stuffed animal.
Sculpture.
Got it. The tale of Balto and the Great Race of Mercy is no doubt one of heroism and inspiration. However, there is another side of the story. A 1949 book called The Drug Story claims the entire trip was nothing more than a genius PR campaign by the manufacturers of the diphtheria vaccine.
What?
The book claims that there was no diphtheria outbreak in Nome and that plane transportation of the vaccine would have been faster and easier, but dog sleds were chosen because it made better news. I will play the devil's advocate here, though, and remind you that there are 5 recorded diphtheria deaths on record in this town during this time. And there actually was an attempt to send a second round of vaccines via airplane, but that failed multiple times due to the rough Alaskan weather conditions, and they ended up using dog sleds again the second time because that just works better out there at this time.
What is the reason for this naysayer to be no?
I mean, I'm sure there might be some truth in that. The vaccine manufacturers definitely use this as good PR, and that probably was part of it. But we know for a fact that there was a diphtheria outbreak and that the planes failed. So I think that it definitely was way blown up and it became a media sensation because obviously it's a great story. Yeah. So I think the truth lies probably somewhere in the middle, I would venture to say.
It's hard for me to imagine big pharma being at its capacity that it is now. Back in the 1920s this happened.
I think it pretty much was, or it was on its way. Yeah. I mean, I can see this being used as a publicity stunt, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they did save lives and these people made it happen,
Yeah.
The criticism I think that is the most valid is the fact that these children were given so many resources, I think because there were white children in the mix. There were also white children in this settlement. And this was a great news story. So these kids were able to be saved. But that wasn't the case for most rural areas in Alaska, especially ones that were entirely indigenous populations. A town, let me find this in my notes, just a few years later, a native village only about 50 miles north of Nome suffered another outbreak of an infectious disease that wiped out literally their entire population. And this was never mentioned in any news article. So I think that they did save lives and this was a good thing, but it would have
looked different had there not been colonialism taking place.
And it's this isn't an isolated event. This is the thing we remember because it was such a spectacle, they weren't doing this for all the villages in Alaska. This was one exception that made a good news story.
Yeah, and maybe it even almost overshadowed all of the other ignored instances where they could have had a similar story but didn't.
It's not a lot of these people who helped. I mean, I'm not talking about the dog sled people here. I'm talking about
the dogs people are left out of this.
I'm talking about the people in power that funded this operation and made it happen. They weren't necessarily doing that because they cared about children, because there were children dying all over Alaska. They were doing it for their own selfish gains, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't like a good thing that the people on the ground did, and they still did save lives.
Sure, yeah, but to be comprehensive, that's a great side of it to bring up.
Yeah, I
important.
think I didn't want to end this story on a downer, but I feel like it needed to be mentioned,
Yeah.
Like it's
I'm
not
glad
all
that you
black
did.
and white. And I also don't want this to be like a white savior story, but also a lot of the mushers, I think the majority of the mushers were Alaska natives, which obviously are the mushers were the true heroes of the story. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out because the vast majority of sources is just like the typical like amazing story.
Everything's amazing.
Everything's amazing.
There's no
Everything's
issues,
good. Yeah.
No controversy.
But there is a little bit of criticism that you can find if you dig for it.
Pay no attention to all the other towns behind the curtain.
But again, like the 20 mushers and 150 dogs that ran the race are absolutely heroes. And Balto, as I put in my notes, as I'm sure all the millennials listening know, apparently that excludes Hayley, has his own 1995 Universal Pictures movie. People, when that movie came out, like for years, people were pointing out that Togo is every bit as much of a hero as Balto, if not more, because he ran the longest leg. So Togo got his own Disney movie in 2019.
Oh.
And
yeah, none of this looks familiar. Alec is looking it up right now. Do not recognize it.
That
Have
is
never seen
so
it.
wild to me that you've never heard of Balto.
Hey, it's a good reason to have a what's it called? Movie night.
Yeah.
There's a seagull.
We don't need to watch that movie. Alec and I tried to watch Balto, and it was terrible. It's crazy how like sexist these like old cartoons are. It was just like kind of gross. And I thought, and also though, like they were weirdly like sexualizing the dogs. Like all the female dogs were like really sexy.
Curvaceous.
Yeah.
They literally have like boobs.
Pretty much. And Balto goes, there was one line, he said, "Big paws run in the family." I was like, oh my God, like this dog has a big dick. They're just saying that in the movie. No wonder fucking furries exist. Like we all grew up with like sexy animal cartoons.
Yeah, we did. I mean, how else are you supposed to distinguish male and female?
Right.
The binary that exists.
Yeah. So that was wild.
That was a joke, by the way. Know that gender is a spectrum.
Definitely. The Togo movie, though, I think actually looks cool. It's like live action and was made in 2019. So maybe we could watch that one for a movie night. But anyway, that's...
I don't know. Is it going to be too woke?
I highly doubt it. If anything, it's not woke enough because I doubt they share the other side of the coin on this story. But that was the story of Balto, Togo, and the Great Race of Mercy. Happy winter, everyone.
An amazing roller coaster. Thank you for that.
Thank you. My sources are, well, I got most of my information from two really good articles. The first one was especially amazing. I had to cut out a lot of stuff because it was just really long and detailed. So if you're interested in this, go read it. It's from the National Endowment for the Humanities website, or NEH.gov. The article is called Dog versus Airplane by Steve Moyer. Really, really good article. The second is an article on Medium.com called The Great Race of Mercy by Elad Simchayoff. And I also used The True Story Behind Balto is Even More Intense Than an Animated Film by Aaron McCann on Ranker.com, baltotruestory.net, and A Different True Story of Balto from the LA Times. That was my lesson.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We will be right back.
Bye. Merry Christmas, no ad. Sorry.
Nailed it.
So good. Take it away, Hayley.
Oh, okay. We're going right into it.
I think so.
I
I
thought
don't
it was going to
know.
be a whole separate thing. No ads. Okay. Woo. Speaking of ads.
Unless this is deep in the future when we've dropped one in.
Mysterious. We don't know. The future's untold. All right, let's get into this. There is one company that we have to thank for playing an essential role in developing the character of Santa Claus we know and love today.
Can I guess?
Please do.
Coca-Cola.
You got it.
Woo!
Good job. Before 1931, there were so many different depictions of Santa. They varied greatly. You had like the OG St. Nicholas. You had skinny Santa Claus, sexy Santa
Ew,
Claus.
I don't want skinny Santa Claus.
No, he looked sick.
That's scary.
Yeah, that
it's like
was
a spider in red.
Yeah, you want to bat him away.
Yeah.
With your, what is that called? Like your chimney tools.
Oh,
they have a special name, right?
Like the switch.
The broom. Yeah,
I don't know. The thing Krampus has, right? Or what's the Bellschnickel? Bellschnickel has like the little like
the
thing.
like twigs.
Yeah.
Your bushel. Anyway, in 1931, Coca-Cola commissioned illustrator Haddon Sundblom to paint Santa for their Christmas ads. And that is what established a mainstream Santa as the warm, happy character with the rosy cheeks, the big white beard, and a twinkle in his eyes.
So cute.
Sundblom drew inspiration for this depiction of Santa from the 1882 poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, also known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, by poet Clement Clarke Moore. Expanding on this poem here, there are theories that 'Twas the Night Before Christmas actually borrowed many details from Arctic shaman rituals. Today, we are going on a learny trip about the theories of the connection between modern Christmas and Santa traditions that may have the root in psychedelic mushrooms.
Ooh, this is like a doctoral thesis.
It is, and there has been a lot of research on it. We'll talk about some of the professors and researchers that have researched this, and this is even a part of a bigger lesson I would like to do eventually about a theory that Western Christianity has its roots in psychedelics. So this is
let that sink in.
I'm just prepping our audience.
Get ready
for that one day. This is a little section of that, I suppose.
All right, a little just to get your toe wet.
Yeah,
before we dive on into Jesus is a stoner.
The tip of your toenail. The mushroom Amanita muscaria. God, I should have practiced that pronunciation.
I think you did a good job.
Thank you. They're mushrooms. They're often associated with fairies, gnomes.
Ooh,
Anyone?
I love a good gnome. Gnome, Alaska, gnome, the animal.
And this
they're not
has
an animal.
Siberia in it. Well, yeah, maybe they could be.
Kind of. Depends on
they're
your definition
animal-like,
of animal.
Yeah. Like cognitive-wise, like a garden gnome. I feel like that might be the same.
We're all animals.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Alice in Wonderland and Mario, you really can't miss this type of mushroom. They're the large red ones that have the white dots on them. People have indulged in this type of mushroom for ever since it existed, it seems, over cultures throughout time. Carl Ruck, a professor at Boston University, amongst other researchers, has extensively studied what he believes to be the psychedelic roots of religion and tradition. And he believes that this is an explanation for many of our current modern day Christmas traditions. So it all begins with the Sami people, indigenous of Lapland, which is the northernmost region of Finland. They have inhabited the northern Arctic for more than 5,000 years and are known to perform healing rituals led by shamans. These shaman will collect the Amanita muscaria mushrooms in preparation for their celebrations on the winter solstice. So the shaman would pick the mushrooms, dry them out, load them into a big bag. And then on December 21st, the winter solstice, they would go and deliver their gifts, traveling from house to house. Some sources say they would travel on a sled pulled by reindeer.
Cute.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you something, and then I was like, how would she know that? Never mind. I'm not going to
Try
ask
it.
you
Let me
something
see what I
stupid.
come up with.
Do we know that reindeer were like when did reindeer get domesticated, or like are they a domesticated animal? Because we watched Dr. Pol and there's a reindeer farm, and it seems like those reindeers are always fucking sick, like always.
Oh no.
And so we're like, maybe reindeer like are a wild animal that we've just like taken out of the wild sometimes, or like are they a domesticated animal? But again, I don't know how you would know that, and I'm sorry I even like.
Well,
asked
no,
this
I
question.
do have something to
Really?
add to
Okay.
that. Yeah. So there are protected species for the Sami or Sami. I'm not sure what vowel sound it makes. Sami people. You can only own reindeer if you are of a direct bloodline of someone, your ancestor, your father used to, that their main occupation was herding reindeer.
Okay, so they
And
were like a
they're
farm animal,
around.
kind
They're
of.
extremely familiar
Okay.
in this region of Finland, at least in Siberia. They're super familiar and interact with them a lot. And we'll get into the indigenous people's spirit animals of reindeer. And these shaman they're believed to be one of the spirit animals. And I'm not trying to appropriate that term. That's like
Yeah.
actually what was believed when
Okay.
these shaman trip on
And I'm
these
going to
mushrooms.
chime in with reindeer are the only deer species to be widely domesticated.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they have
Okay,
been
so it is
around people
domesticated.
for sure.
They are used as beasts of burden and farmed for their milk, meat, and hides.
I didn't know they had
Ooh.
milk.
I want to eat
I don't
some
know.
reindeer cheese.
Oh, I thought you were going to say meat. I'm like, cat.
No, I want to
Oh
eat their
my
cheese.
God. I do too.
I want it to be flavored with cranberries.
Ooh, cranberries, some jam, maybe some pomegranate.
Ooh, yeah, all the winter fruit.
Yeah.
Some orange.
Some cherry. I don't even like cherry, but it sounds good in
I
this
like
moment.
cherry.
I'm just lit, I think.
yeah.
The shaman were typically older men, and obviously they had to have a beard because it's super cold there. And they would wear red and white to honor the mushrooms that they foraged. And also just because, fashion. And since it was during the winter solstice in the Arctic region of the Earth, it would be snowing. So the people lived in yurts, which were at this time typically covered and surrounded by feet of snow, rendering the main door inaccessible. So it was much easier for the shaman to enter the house and or drop the mushrooms through the house's smoke hole in the ceiling.
Cool.
Does that remind you of anything?
No. What are you talking about?
Weird, yeah. You're like, the what hole?
The what
That's
hole?
inappropriate. So that's where they think we get the idea of presents coming down the chimney from.
Wow.
Amanita muscaria have a symbiotic relationship with and are often found growing under conifers and birch trees, giving us the traditional Christmas tree and the traditional Christmas colors of green, red, and white. But you cannot eat these mushrooms immediately after plucking them. They are extremely poisonous to human beings. So, to rid the shrooms of their toxicity, the shaman would hang the mushrooms on tree branches to dry them out, much like ornaments.
Oh. Now I want a mushroom ornament.
I just want a mushroom. What is it called? A blooming mushroom?
Oh, yeah.
What is it called?
Yum.
Blooming onion?
A blooming
Blooming-
onion. Oh, yeah. There's an
I
onion,
thought there was
not a mushroom.
Oh, yeah. Why did I think it was a mushroom? I don't want anyone to think I'm talking about illegal mushrooms here, okay? I'm just hungry.
We're following the law.
Another way to dehydrate them is to place the mushrooms in socks and spread them over a fire. Much like the tradition of hanging stockings or Christmas boots over chimneys and
I
fireplaces.
see.
Much like Saint Nick, you put your shoes out to receive the gift of, whatever he brings you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's mushrooms.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But, if that is your norm, then
Yeah.
sounds good. After the shaman entered the dwelling, the shaman would be the one to eat the mushroom and they would start tripping.
Wait, so the shaman goes down the smoke hole as well?
Yeah.
I thought he just dropped the mushrooms down.
I think it really just depended on the situation. I think the shaman,
like if it was a cool family he wanted to hang
he
out
wants
with.
to hang, because he's gonna be there a little while. He makes all his other deliveries and then saves the favorites for last. He gets into the dwelling, he starts tripping, and he would beat the drum and go, quote, to the underworld, where he would then retrieve advice, and that would be Santa's gift to them, to let the community know what he saw, what the gods told him.
So everyone wasn't tripping, it was just the shaman?
Well, everyone does. Well, we're about to get to that section. That is a great question. So legend says that during their trips, the shaman could see the future of their community. They could also turn into animals, which were often reindeer, because they were always accompanied by reindeer. They're just around. And they would fly towards the northern star in search of knowledge to share with their people. So that was the true gift. It wasn't anything physical. Some sources say that the shaman would end up looking like the mushroom themselves while tripping, as they developed red blotches on their skin. And they brought healing and problem solving and shrooms for everyone else too. But the healing in itself was the gift. So shaman were thanked with food, milk and cookies. Anyone?
Oh, what do you know what kind of food they were actually given?
Probably just whatever they had.
Like reindeer milk and biscuits
and some crumpets. That would help them bulk up and obtain that bulbous mushroom-like physique, much like Santa Claus as we know him today. And the reindeers have this connection too. So as we've already stated, they're super common in Europe and Siberia. Not only were the humans eating the mushrooms, but the reindeer really liked the mushrooms. They lived for the mushrooms.
Flying reindeer.
One of the effects reported after eating this type of mushroom is the sensation that you're flying.
Oh my God, they really were. That is so, don't give your pets drugs, but that is so cute.
And it's not, I feel like, a far stretch to think that if you're under the influence of mushrooms, that you could hallucinate that these reindeer out in your area are flying.
And they're like on your roof. Because they're going, like Santa's going through the smoke hole.
Yes. Isn't this crazy?
Yeah. Oh my God.
One of the researchers, Carl Ruck, wrote, amongst the Siberian shamans, you have an animal spirit you can journey with in your vision quest. And reindeer are common and familiar to people in Siberia. So they have very close relationships with the reindeer.
So you have like a little friend on your trip?
You have a friend while you're on your trip.
That is so cute.
I feel like they're often accompanying them into the forest to forage for these mushrooms. So there's just a very strong association here with this guy with a beard who's going out to the forest to get these things that he hangs on trees, which are pine trees, because that's where they naturally grow and have a symbiotic relationship with, that has the reindeer, and they come through your chimney. And you'll have a jolly good time.
This is so cool. Don't you wish that like someday time travel will exist so you can like go see all this cool stuff?
That is the only thing. Like, I'm so excited to live the rest of my life, but I really hope that whenever I die, I get all of the answers.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, not a lot of people, but like some people who have like died and came back said that like, when you die, you suddenly like know everything and can see everything. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, like an
hopefully it's
all-encompassing understanding. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing as an agnostic / atheist for me, where I'm like, well, maybe, first of all, if there is a God, she's a woman. And second of all, maybe we're all like, we all have this piece of like this universal, like it's a much bigger
I think it's
thing.
more like a mass energy that we're all a part of.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I mean,
too.
Obviously I don't know anything.
We'll find out eventually.
Yeah, hopefully.
If my religion is right.
My religion that I'm cherry picked and made up.
Yeah. I mean, that's fitting.
True.
All right, here's where shit gets crazy. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Siberia
it's not crazy yet.
No. Okay. You'll see. So they would also drink the urine of reindeer.
Oh, okay.
Because reindeer reindeer were not effective by the toxins in the mushrooms.
Oh, so the reindeer are a filtration system.
Exactly.
Okay.
They would hold out wooden bowls and collect the urine, and it still contained all of the hallucinogenic compounds without the toxins. And they would also drink the shaman's urine as well, because the urine could be recycled up to 5 times.
Wow.
So
that's gross.
I would love to know. It's always interesting to think, like, when was the first time this happened?
Yeah, who figured this out? That's what I want to know too. I would imagine that it's someone who was like really thirsty and drank reindeer pee because they had no other option, and
You're
then they
surrounded
started
by
tripping.
snow. Melt snow.
What if you can't make a fire?
Well, put it in your mouth. It'll melt.
You are not supposed to do that because you use more energy melting the snow than you use more water
You gain from it.
than you
Okay.
get from it. So like if you're ever in a survival situation, you're supposed to put snow in like a water bottle and like put it under your coat. You're not supposed to eat snow.
Wow, that is so good to know.
I learned that from Bear Grylls.
What is Bear Grylls?
Bear Grylls.
What is Bear Grylls?
You don't know who Bear Grylls is?
No.
He's the guy who goes and survives outside on Animal Planet.
He's just living, man.
Yeah.
He's clothed and unafraid.
Yeah, he's not Survivor Man. What's his show called? Alec, do you know?
I don't know.
Man versus Wild. No,
Oh.
that's a different show.
Maybe.
Is that Bear Grylls? I don't know.
I just liked Who's Bear Girls.
Bear Grylls. What's Bear Grylls? I want that.
I'm wondering what other cartoon that has been so sentimental for every other millennial that I've not been a part of.
To be fair, and this is a flex, Balto came out before we were alive.
Wow.
So,
but I feel
that
like
feels good.
everyone listening is like 10 years younger than us.
that's true. No, that's not true. We have a lot of older listeners. Not older, but like not
Older than us.
teenagers.
Yeah. I guess, and for them to be 10 years younger than us, they'd be 15 and 16, which I feel like 15 and 16-year-olds would be like, no, they don't.
And not 16, not yet, because my birthday's not for 3 weeks.
I was going to give you a month. I was going to say not till a month, but you're counting down. Which, speaking of, we do have our January Patreon
coming right
cocktail
up.
hour on Kat's birthday.
So you bitches better bring
Show
me a
up or
present.
throw up.
Yeah, show up. Obviously, you can't give me a present over Zoom, but I expect you to come with like a really good piece of drama from your personal lives. That's what I want for my birthday.
Yeah.
Tell me your office gossip.
I was at this social hour for this old cohort that I was in. I told you about this, but I was talking to some people there and we were talking about what schools we're at and whatnot. And somebody joked like, oh, haha, like what's the tea on all your schools? And I got really serious. I'm like, oh my God, there's tea. What is your guys' tea? Can we talk about tea at our workplace? And they were like, oh, like I was just making a joke.
That's not a funny joke because
That's not
now
a
you
joke.
want to know the tea.
I don't trust you. And I know you have tea.
Schools have the best tea.
Absolutely.
Like,
because it's totally
everyone-
unexpected.
Yeah, well, I don't know about unexpected.
As someone who, before I taught in education, I had no idea how much politics existed within education.
And teachers are like, they spend so much time together. That's probably maybe it. I don't know. There's so much teacher drama. It's amazing. It's my favorite part of my job.
Absolutely.
Besides how much I love the children, obviously.
And at least a handful are wine moms. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a wine mom and I don't even have kids.
children. I'm a wine mom to
I'm a wine-
4 animals.
I'm a wine person.
Whenever
All right.
someone asks me if I have kids, which happens a lot because I feel like people just expect teachers to have children.
Absolutely.
I say no, but I have 4 pets.
And they're like,
ugh.
oh, yeah. What
Stay
must your
away.
house smell
Yeah.
like?
It doesn't smell good, I can tell you that.
No, every time I walk into your house, it smells good.
Really?
So I must say that,
It gets worse smelling as you go down the hallway toward the cat box.
Yeah, that'll do it. Donkey.
That'll do, donkey.
Okay, you know Rudolph
No.
and
who's
all
that?
the other Prancer and Dancer and
Is he related to Bear Grylls?
No, we don't know her.
Okay.
They think that his red nose might be a wink to the red mushrooms.
Fun.
And that there was also another source that said that the deer, they like these mushrooms so much, like they would kind of rub their face in it. You know how dogs really like the smell of deer pee and will like roll in it? They think that it was a similar...
And my horse will like rub his face on my pockets when I have treats. So I can see that.
Yeah. They think that maybe a reindeer at one point, you know, had rubbed its nose on
until
the
it's
mushroom.
red.
Exactly. Modern day Santa would be nothing without his elves, and the shaman would be nothing without the spirits they encountered during their trips. There are plenty of theories as to where these various traditions come from, but in his book, James Author wrote in the book is called Mushrooms and Mankind. He said, why do people bring pine trees into their houses at the winter solstice and place brightly colored red and white packages under their boughs and gifts to show their love for each other as representations of the love of God and the gift of his son's life? It is because underneath the pine bough is the exact location where one would find this most sacred substance, the Amanita muscaria, in the wild. The shamanic journey evolved as Druids traveled and the tradition spread to Great Britain. It was then combined with Germanic and Nordic myths, such as the adventures of the Germanic god Wotan. You know this? Wotan?
Oh, yes. I pray to him regularly. No, I don't know who that is.
Oh my God. You can't flex about your German level and then make me feel silly for thinking you would know this German god. But here I am.
A Germanic god is different than a modern day German god.
I don't know the limits of your mind. I'm just trying here.
I don't know who that is. Tell me who it is.
Well, anyway, Wotan and his Nordic counterpart Odin and some other gods, they would travel the night for the winter solstice, and they were chased by demons. Yeah, they were chased by demons in a sleigh pulled by an 8-legged horse.
Oh my God.
So a spider, a mammal spider.
Yeah, a horse spider. No fucking thank you.
And according to Giuliani Furky on ffungi.org, quote, a trail of red and white blood fell from the sleigh and the horses frothed white foam to the ground where the Amanita mushrooms would appear the following year. So that's just, you know,
the legend,
myth and legend. Yeah. But Christianity evolved, you know, the tradition of St. Nicholas, since he gave gifts to those in need, especially children. And that brings us full circle now to St. Nicholas, the like OG Santa as we know it, to the cheerful Santa Claus of Coca-Cola.
Wow, what a journey. I feel like I ate 1,000 mushrooms.
Yeah, no, you just drank a cup of vodka.
Yeah, I just drank a tumbler full of vodka. That's true.
The question is not if the indigenous Arctic and Siberian people / shaman ingested psychedelic mushrooms or not. The debate is still out as to whether it is actually connected to Christmas or not.
Sounds like it is.
I'm going to say, yeah, it is. And of course, you know, Western Christianity is just going to say, no.
There's a girl I went to high school with who's like become like deep end Christianity.
Yeah.
And she posted like, it's like just like a repost thing on Facebook. She reposted it and it's like, remember, your Christmas tree is witchcraft. And people in the comments are like, okay, like, and like I still like it, or like you're overthinking this and like whatever. And she is like fighting with people hardcore in the comments, like it's demonic, da 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 da. And it's just so funny. Like, just enjoy your life. Like,
yeah.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious, but things like that, because I've seen that as well. I've seen that post probably at least 5 times this year, something similar. And it's kind of scary, this religious extremity that's happening,
and it's
this like prosecution
I
of
know.
Jewish people, with like Kanye West popularizing it even more and making Nazis feel comfortable to be outward with their beliefs.
Yeah, it's just
it's
like
really
a weird,
scary.
Yeah, religious extremism is scary no matter like what end it's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, maybe if there is a God, then I feel fine still being like unsure.
Yeah, if there is a God, they don't want you doing all this.
For sure. Yeah, that is not.
They're not concerned with Christmas trees.
Whatever religion may be right, they do not give a fuck about the tree in your decor.
So it's so silly.
It is.
Well, that's the drama I've been living for this week. I keep like literally, she's in my like searches on Facebook because I go back and look at that post and read the comments because there's like 100 of them.
Facebook is the perfect place for that. And that's why I joined those Facebook groups, because they'll repost their own small hometown stuff.
It's so fun.
That you just... Reddit is amazing, but it's not quite the caliber of drama that I'm looking for.
But there's Reddit pages that post about Facebook posts.
But I'm already on Facebook. Might as well just get it organic.
I don't know. I think you're not on the right subreddits.
I'm on my way. Okay. I'm on my way. My sources are ffungi.org, The Influence of Hallucinogenic Mushrooms on Christmas by Juliana Furkey, moofmag.com, Santa Claus, the Magic Mushroom, and the Psychedelic Origins of Christmas by Melanie Zulu, After School, The Magic Mushroom Christmas Theory, The Atlantic, Santa is a Psychedelic Mushroom, Live Science, 8 Ways Magic Mushrooms Explain Santa's Story, and the Coca-Cola Company.com. Did Coca-Cola create Santa Claus?
Wow.
Yes,
Tell
and
me more,
no.
Papa. Thank you for that lesson. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy winter. Thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. We want positive reviews for Christmas. We also want you to tell your friends and family. Listen to us during your Christmas travels. We really appreciate that. And if you want to hear us keep talking and continue this episode with more interesting things we've learned and researched this week, pop on over to Patreon. You can donate at any tier, help the show, and listen to our extra credit episode that comes out every week.
So we will be continuing this conversation over there.
See ya.
3,
2, 1. Class dismissed. Sorry, I forgot. I'm drunk.
She's dirt.
Peppermintini's gotcha.
They're so good.